Hey everybody, welcome to Wednesdays in Bed with Keith. I'm Keith. This is my bed. What small portion of it you see. So anyway, I was thinking today about my life with cars. And the reason I was thinking is because I was just sort of sitting at Starbucks buying an iced tea, and I was looking around at all the various cars and the people who drive the cars. And it's such an interesting thing to think about why a person buys a car. And I have always had a love for cars. Like even when I was little, I would buy all the really cool Matchbox cars and everything, like so many people did. And then I would sort of give them like a name, and they would become like an extension of me. Like I wanted to always have the sleek, fast, vibrant colored cars. Like when I was little, like orange and electric blue and yellow, and all those colors were like super, super popular. So even with my bicycle, like my brothers had like totally normal bikes, and I had like a hot pink magenta bike. Like I had to have that bike, and there's a whole story behind that because, very briefly, like my brother Randy got the bike, and I loved it. Like it was everything a little boy could dream of. It was magenta, and it had like the sissy bars, and it had the banana seat, and it was just totally awesome. And I was I was riding like this cheesy old Columbia, whatever it was. It didn't even have a bell. Like the bell would go blip, blip, blip. Like it didn't ding, ding, ding. You know, that, not me at all. So I made a plan to get the bike. And what I did was I went up our street with mine, and I went up into our neighbor's driveway, which was a very like steep incline, relatively steep incline, and I came flying down, and I headed the bike right for a tree, and boom, I went right into the tree. I knew what I was doing. I bent the wheel. I didn't break my tooth. I bit my lip, so there was all blood coming out. And, when I got home, my mother was like, "Oh my God, this is terrible. Oh my God, Henry, look." And my dad was like, "Whoa, we'll have to go get him another bike." And I was like, "I want Randy's bike. It's so nice. And I just want that." And my parents took us back to the bike shop, and Randy was able to pick out the electric blue bike that he always wanted, but our mother made him drive a pink bike. Don't even get me started. How he didn't become gay is beyond me. So anyway, it all worked out for everybody. But my whole life, all I ever wanted was a Cadillac. Like, I just thought Cadillacs were like the epitome of you have made it. I wanted the Cadillac Eldorado so badly. Like, I would beg my mother, "Please, Mom, put the Cadillac Eldorado under the tree." And she would be like, "Oh, shut up." And my mother hated Cadillacs for whatever reason. I don't even know. But she was like, "That's the car you take your last ride in. And I'm not getting a Cadillac." First of all, we probably couldn't afford a Cadillac, but that was beside the point. That was, whatever. So by the time I got to high school, my mother was driving this little sort of bronze, she'd gone from bigger cars down to this little sort of bronze colored Opel Manta Rally, which was, I can't even describe it other than to say it sort of looked like a Dutch shoe with wheels. Like it was almost like Fred Flintstone. Like it was really crazy. And that's the car I had to learn to drive on. And while it didn't make me happy, and it certainly wasn't a Cadillac, it got me to and fro. So I had saved my money, and I had cut grass. I had done lawns and everything because my parents insisted that we work. And, it gave us a great work ethic. They really did. They didn't hand us anything, honestly. Well, once in a while they did. But so I saved up enough money to pay for half of a new car, and my parents would kick in the other half. And as it turns out, what did I pick out? This Chrysler Cordoba. Like it was this dove gray with a dove gray interior Chrysler Cordoba with the opera windows and the Landau roof. And I just thought I was the hottest thing. Like I think that thing floated. Like it floated. It was like driving a cloud. And I loved that car. So, I probably looked like the son of a pimp that was, driving his daddy's car. But anyway, it took me where I had to go, and that was great. But over the course of my life, I've had this real passion with cars. And I think both of my brothers have too. I know Randy has, Dennis has also. I just always wanted the hot sort of sporty car or what I considered to be like, a really like classy car. So, Lexus, BMW, Jaguar. had them all and have driven them all. And, you know, I just go from lease to lease to lease to lease to lease, and it just suits my purpose. So anyway, my partner Rob, obviously, is in the car industry, and for years he was at Jaguar, so I was able to take advantage of Jaguar, and it was great because I had sports cars, I had sedans. My last car was the little SUV, and I just loved it. Like, I totally, totally loved those cars. But my absolute favorite, the one that no other car can compare to, in my mind, was my Jaguar XKR convertible. Like, I loved it. When I was in that car, I felt so good. I felt great about myself. I knew that people were looking at it. I knew they were looking at me. It was all this, like, just mystery, like, wow, look at him. And and so it came time for me to have to get rid of it because the lease was up, and it also was impractical in this this climate here in the Northeast. It was fast. It was like 540 horsepower, and it just flew. But anyway, so I was struggling a little bit, and I thought it was peculiar that I was struggling. So I went to my therapist, and I was like, I know this is a crazy problem, and it's like, a privileged kind of problem. Not that I'm privileged, but I was just like, so he started talking to me, and he was like, well, describe the car to me. And I said, oh, it's long, it's sleek, it's fast, everybody loves it, they look at it, and it makes me feel kind of good. And he was like, well, why does that make you feel good? I was like, I don't know, it just makes me feel good. Like, I feel like, this is a terrible thing to say, but I felt like more manly in it, and, as masculine as I could be. So anyway, he said to me, I see. He goes, so in other words, you're going to be getting rid of your penis. And I looked at him and I was like, what? He goes, long, sleek, everybody wants it. He goes, I think this all goes back to your penis. And I was like, no, what are you talking about? Like, no, that has nothing to do with it. I think it does, Keith. I think it does. And he says it in like this monotone kind of voice. So anyway, I leave there and I get in the car and I'm driving, and Rob calls me and he's like, hey, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I don't know. I said, I'm just, taking my penis for a ride around New Haven. He was like, what are you talking about? So I told him the thing, and he was like, please don't tell anybody this because this will be very bad for my car sales. Like, if people think that they're just buying it because... So anyway, so the time comes and I have to get rid of the car. And I drove, the other cars that I had. And now... he's no longer with Jaguar. The dealership got sold, and he's working at Lincoln, and he had this Ford Explorer. So my lease was up, and I took over his Ford Explorer because it's, it still has another year left on the lease. And so anyway, I'm sitting at Starbucks today, as I said, and I'm looking around at all these other cars, and I'm thinking, here I am in this big, enormous, tank, and it's so not me. So I started thinking that, I drive it, and it gets me to and fro, and it gets me where I have to go, and it doesn't really affect me in any way because it's just a vehicle. And so it kind of made me feel good because at the end of the day, when I pulled it into the garage, I thought to myself, you know what? This car is the biggest vehicle I've ever driven. Like, size-wise, it's enormous. And nothing about me is enormous. So while I appreciate that I am driving that penis, it doesn't change my penis, but it just makes me realize that I am who I am, and I'm happy to be who I am. So it's really crazy, but the car doesn't make the man. I actually think the man makes the car. And that's the lesson of the day.